I heard Yana's heels clicking across the office floor before I even saw her. "You're late again," she said, voice sharp enough to slice through my thin morning mood. I looked down at my worn shoes and muttered, "Sorry, the bus." She waved me off. "Excuses don't impress anyone, you know," she said, flipping her hair and striding past me. My chest tightened. I swallowed. "I'll try harder next time." "You try harder," she laughed softly, but it wasn't kind. It was that tone that made me feel small. "You know what I mean." I nodded, pretending to type, but her eyes burned into me. Every glance reminded me of how far we had drifted. Once, we shared dreams, whispered promises about running a business together, escaping this dead-end life. Now she saw me like I was invisible, or worse, pathetic. During the morning meeting, she singled me out again. "Can someone explain why our last report was late?" she asked, not even looking at anyone in particular. My heart sank. I mismanaged my time," I said softly. My words sounded tiny even to me. She sighed, rolling her eyes. "I shouldn't be surprised. You've always been disorganized. Honestly, I don't know why I even try explaining things to you." I felt my ears burn. "I'll fix it," I said quickly, looking down at my notes. My hand shook slightly. After the meeting, she pulled me aside. "Listen," she said, voice low now, closer to what I thought was our private language once. "Your clothes, your attitude, your ambition, it's embarrassing. I can't believe I was with someone like you." "Not anymore." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Yana, I'm trying. I want to." "Trying isn't enough," she interrupted, smirking. "Do you even see how I'm moving up? How everyone notices me?" "I notice," I muttered, barely audible. My chest felt tight, like someone pressed on it. Her laugh was cold. "Notice? That's cute. You notice me now? You couldn't even notice me before. You were too busy being nothing." I wanted to speak, to defend myself, but no words came. My throat tightened. I swallowed again. Later, near the water cooler, I overheard her talking to Victor, her boss. I froze behind the corner, heart hammering. "And he's just a burden," she said, giggling. "I mean, he's nice, I guess, but he's weak. I deserve someone who can keep up, someone who actually matters." I felt my stomach twist. "Yana," I whispered to myself. I wanted to storm out, confront her, scream, anything. But my legs betrayed me. I pretended I was retrieving my files and walked away quietly. That night, I tried to eat, but the rice tasted like ash. She sat across from me, wearing that same smug expression I hated. "I think we need to talk," she said casually, like announcing the weather. I nodded, trying to keep my voice steady. "Yeah, sure." "I can't do this anymore," she said, tapping her nails on the table. "You're weak. Not for lack of effort, but for lack of potential. I need someone who can." "Someone who can what?" I asked quietly, almost afraid to hear. "Who can keep up with me? Who won't embarrass me every single day?" "I can't be with someone like you anymore," she said, voice cold, precise. I blinked rapidly, trying to process. You're breaking up with me?" My voice cracked. "Yes," she said simply, looking away. "I'm sorry, but I deserve better. I need better." I felt like the floor had vanished beneath me. "Yana. You really thought I'd stay stuck with you forever," she said, cutting me off. "You really thought love would save this? You're pathetic." I tried to fight back tears, but they burned my eyes anyway. I loved you, I whispered. Her lips curled, not in a smile. And I used to love you. That was the problem. You made me feel safe, but weak. I can't do it anymore. I sat there, numb. The rice, the table, the room, everything blurred. My mind was screaming, but I could barely form thoughts. I wanted to scream, punch something, anything, but I didn't. I stood abruptly, knocking my chair back. So, that's it? My voice was hoarse. That's it, she confirmed, packing her bag calmly. I stumbled out of the apartment, rain drumming against the streets. My soaked clothes clung to me, but I barely felt it. My hands shook, my mind whirled. I muttered to myself, I tried. I really tried. A taxi honked, splashing water onto the sidewalk, and I didn't care. I walked on, aimless. The city lights blurred through my tears. I remembered every insult, every laugh I overheard, every glance filled with contempt. You're nothing, she said in my mind. The words echoed. Over and over. I stopped under a flickering streetlight, chest heaving. Maybe she's right, I whispered to the night. My hands were shaking violently now. Maybe I am nothing. I heard a distant car engine roar. I didn't move. My mind didn't even register the approaching danger. The street, the rain, my life, all felt suspended in a fog of despair. God, help me, I muttered, though I wasn't sure who I was talking to. My thoughts collapsed into themselves. The last thing I remember before everything went black was her voice, sharp and clear, cutting through the fog. I deserve better. You'll never be enough. And then I fell. I woke up drenched, my heart racing, but it wasn't the rain this time, it was panic. My legs felt weak, my hands were shaking. I was lying on the cold asphalt, the city lights spinning above me. The memory hit like a punch. Yana's words. Her laughter. My failure. I whispered to myself, I'm done. I can't take this anymore. A passerby shouted, Hey! Are you okay? I tried to speak, but my voice cracked. I'm fine, I muttered, but I wasn't. Not even close. I stumbled to the sidewalk, soaked through, knees trembling. The world felt heavy, like it wanted to crush me. God, why me? Why now? I muttered to the night. The city felt cold, empty, indifferent. I remembered my overdue bills, the landlord's voice in my ear, my mother's worried calls. Where's my rent, son? You promised. I pressed my forehead to the wall, trying to breathe. A taxi zoomed past, splashing water over me. I didn't care. I muttered, maybe it would be easier if I just let it end. I walked to the edge of the street, heart hammering, mind spinning. I could hear the roar of an approaching car in the distance. My legs froze. Part of me screamed to step back, but another part just wanted release. Stop it. You're not ready to end it yet. I shouted at myself. My voice sounded foreign, hollow. I held my chest as tears ran down my face. I can't. I can't anymore. The headlights came closer, and for a second, I closed my eyes. Nothing mattered. The pain, the shame, the betrayal, they were all too much. Then, silence. I opened my eyes. I was in my bedroom. My old room. My walls, the same posters, the same desk, the same worn carpet. I stared around, frozen. No, this isn't real, I whispered. Of course it's real, a voice said. It was me, but younger. Stronger in memory, smaller in body. You're back? I muttered, heart hammering. I touched my face, my hands. They were mine, younger, stronger, but still mine. I fell onto the bed, trembling. This is impossible. I died. My voice cracked. You didn't die, my reflection, or was it me, said. You've been given a second chance. I shook my head. Second chance? After everything? After Yana? After all of it? Yes. You have the knowledge of what's coming. The pain. The betrayal. The failure. And you have the chance to change it. I sat up abruptly. Change it, how? You don't waste it, my reflection said simply. You work. You learn. You grow. You prepare. You never let anyone have power over you again. Not Yana. Not Victor. Not anyone. I buried my face in my hands. I don't know if I can. I'm weak. I'm pathetic. I couldn't even stand up to her. How do I change? You start now, my reflection said. Every small move counts. You have 5 years. 5 years to make her regret, 5 years to make yourself strong, 5 years to never feel this powerless again. I swallowed hard, heart pounding. 5 years, but what about her? My voice shook. What about Yana? She'll be exactly where she needs to be when the time comes. Don't think about her yet. Think about you. Build yourself. Become someone she could never imagine. Someone she couldn't control, couldn't hurt. I nodded slowly, though my hands were still trembling. Someone better. Stronger. Smarter. Richer, everything she isn't. Exactly, my reflection said. And you start now. I stared at my desk. My savings were tiny. My knowledge of stocks, tech, and business was minimal, but I remembered. I remembered the companies I'd ignored, the investments I missed. I remembered Yana's betrayal, her cruel laughter, the words that still haunted me. Then I won't waste it, I whispered, determination beginning to stir. I'll do it. I'll be someone else. Someone powerful. A knock at the door startled me. Mom? I called out. It's me. Michael? Are you okay? Her voice trembled. I realized I sounded like myself again, young, alive. I nodded even though she couldn't see me. Yeah, I'm fine. Just resting. I closed the door and turned back to my desk. I opened my laptop, fingers shaking. Leo, if I reach out to him now, will he believe me? Will he help me? I muttered his name over and over. Leo. Leo. Leo, then I paused. I'll figure it out. Slowly. Carefully. No mistakes this time. I remembered the startups I'd ignored, the small investments I'd skipped. Tech, small projects, stocks, all of it. I can't waste it. My hands trembled with excitement now, not just fear. Patience, I whispered. I have 5 years. 5 years to be perfect. I thought of Yana again. She'll see me. She'll see who I really am. And she'll regret, my voice trailed off. Anger bubbled beneath the surface, sharp, hot, cleansing. But I forced myself to breathe. Not yet, I said. I don't rush. I prepare. I plan. I grow. And when the time comes, she'll understand exactly what she lost. The rain from last night still rang in my ears. The shame, the hopelessness, the betrayal, they were like fire fueling me now. I'm never going to be powerless again, I whispered. I checked my bank accounts, my old contacts, the books I used to ignore. I have time. I have knowledge. I can start, now. I imagined Yana laughing at someone else, believing she had left me behind for good. She thinks she's won, I muttered. She has no idea, my fists clenched, heart hammering. The world felt suddenly alive, full of possibilities. I looked in the mirror. Michael, I said, voice firm, solid, this is the first day of the rest of your life. You'll never look back. You'll never be weak again. And when you return, she'll pay for every word, every laugh, every insult. She'll regret ever thinking she was better than you. I felt a surge of energy, something I hadn't felt in years. Hope, focus, and fire all in one. I'm ready, I whispered, gripping the edge of the desk. I'm ready to take back everything, everything they tried to take from me. I sank into my chair and opened my laptop again. Every name, every company, every project I remembered, I listed them all. Every opportunity one had missed would now become a stepping stone. No more mistakes, I said aloud. No more waiting. No more weakness. Not this time. For the first time in years, I smiled. A small, dangerous smile. Not at Yana. Not at Victor. But at myself. I had a plan, a life, and a fire that no one could touch. And in the quiet of my room, I swore, when I return everything changes. And she'll never see me coming. I stared at the stock chart on my laptop, the numbers shifting like a heartbeat. If I buy here, wait, yes, here. Small, safe. My hands hovered over the keyboard, trembling with excitement. I can't mess this up. Not this time. Leo's voice rang through my phone. You're serious about this? Investing now? I have to be, I said, barely containing the thrill. I know what's coming. I know which companies will explode, which ones will fail. I can't waste it again. Leo chuckled. You sound different. More dangerous. Good, I muttered. Dangerous is what I need to be. I don't want to be weak anymore. Fine, he said. I'll help, but slowly. You said yourself, patience first. I nodded even though he couldn't see me. Patience. Focus. Execution. Every detail matters. You follow my lead, we grow, and nothing stops us. Leo laughed. I knew you were smart, but this level? You're obsessed. Obsessed? Maybe, I said, voice low, but obsession is better than regret. The first weeks were brutal. I spent nights reading, analyzing, and calculating every small opportunity. Stocks, tech startups, small projects, even crowdfunding campaigns. Every decision was a test of my patience. I barely slept, barely ate. And still, I couldn't stop thinking about Yana. I can't believe she did that, I muttered, staring at her face in my memory. Laughing at me like I was nothing, my fists clenched. She doesn't even know what's coming. Leo called again. Are you sure you want to spend this much energy on revenge? You're doing fine financially. You could just live. No, I said sharply. Living isn't enough. She made me nothing. I have to show her. Every step, every move, has to count. This time, I'll be untouchable. He was silent. Fine. But, don't burn yourself out. I hung up and stared at my reflection in the laptop screen. I'm not burning out. I'm building. Slowly, silently, invisibly. They won't see me coming. Mia came into my life next. She was quiet, precise, calculating. I met her through a small tech forum. I read your proposals, she said one evening, arms crossed, eyes scanning my charts. You're reckless. Maybe, I said, smiling slightly. Or maybe I just know what others ignore. You in? She hesitated. You don't even know me. I'll teach you, I said. Step by step. If you follow, we'll build something bigger than anything you've imagined. And no one, not Yana, not Victor, no one, will ever control it. Mia studied me for a moment. Then she nodded. Okay. But if you're lying? I walk. I don't lie, I said firmly. We build. Slowly. Silence is our weapon. Every evening, I and Leo plotted. Mia provided insights no one else saw. Your timing is perfect, she said one night, eyes glued to a spreadsheet. If you invest here, you double your returns in 6 months. Perfect, I whispered. 6 months, that's all I need for the first phase. Phase? Leo asked, eyebrows raised. Patience, Leo, I said with a small grin. It's all about timing. Yana doesn't even know the storm is coming. I kept checking her progress online. Promotions, public appearances, meetings with Victor. Every image, every post fueled the fire inside me. She's proud of herself, I muttered. She thinks she's winning. She doesn't even realize she's still behind. Mia leaned over. You think about her too much. Maybe, I admitted. But I can't forget. Not yet. Every insult, every laugh, every glance. I use it. Every memory is a tool. Leo frowned. You're obsessed, Michael. Don't let it consume you. It's not obsession, I said sharply. It's preparation. They all underestimated me once. Never again. I will be the one no one ignores. The one no one can touch. I kept a small notebook, writing her name down along with everything she did, the insults, the lies, the betrayals. One day, every word, every look, she'll understand, I whispered. Then came the first real test. A small tech startup I'd ignored before was failing. I remembered the future, how it would explode. I called Leo. I need you ready. We invest everything we can here. Quietly. No announcements. Just numbers. Are you insane? He asked. We don't even know if it'll work. I do, I said. Trust me. Silence, patience, timing. This is how we rise. Slowly, invisibly, untouchably. Leo exhaled. Fine. But if this blows up in our faces? It won't, I said firmly. It can't. Not this time. I spent nights calculating, cross-checking, predicting. Mia and I argued over percentages, risk margins, and expected returns. You're too aggressive, she said. I'm aggressive because I have to be, I snapped gently. Patience doesn't mean weakness. Preparation doesn't mean hesitation. I am precise. I am careful. I am silent. And one day, all of it will matter. She looked at me for a long time. Then she nodded slowly. Fine. But don't let anger blind you. I won't, I said. But inside, a small smile crept over my face. Anger wasn't just fuel, it was clarity. Weeks turned into months. Each investment, each project, each small victory, strengthened me. Leo became my right hand, Mia my mind. And through it all, I kept her in the back of my head. Yana's face, her insults, her laughter, they drove me. They were proof that I had been weak. And proof that I would never be weak again. One night, I sat back and watched the numbers rise. Yes, I whispered. It's working. Slowly, silently, perfectly. Leo laughed. You're obsessed. But I can't deny it, you're good. I told you, I said quietly, eyes on the screen. Obsession is better than regret. And I will never regret again. Not her. Not Victor. Not anyone. Mia smiled faintly. You're building an empire quietly. That's impressive. But don't forget, the real battle is ahead. I nodded, a dark thrill running through me. I know. And when it comes, I'll be ready. Stronger. Smarter. Untouchable. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. 5 years, I whispered. 5 years, and nothing she ever did will matter. I will rise, and she'll finally see me. See the man she destroyed. And by then, I will be unstoppable. The city outside my window was quiet, but inside, my mind roared. Every calculation, every plan, every silent move was a step closer to the man I was meant to become. Not weak. Not pathetic. Not forgotten. I whispered her name softly, letting it roll off my tongue like a warning. Yana, you'll see. One day, you'll see. And with that, I shut my laptop, stretched, and whispered again, tomorrow, we begin again. I leaned back in my chair, watching Yana's latest promotion announcement scroll across my screen. Manager of Corporate Strategy. She smiled in the photo, hair perfect, posture proud. I clenched my fists. She thinks she's untouchable, I muttered. She has no idea what's coming. Leo's voice broke my thoughts. You've been staring at that screen for 10 minutes. Are you okay? I'm fine, I said, though my voice trembled with barely suppressed anger. I'm just planning. Planning? He asked, eyebrow raised. You mean, plotting revenge? I smirked faintly. Not revenge. Patience. Observation. Strategy. This is the stage. She's building herself up, I'm building myself up. Timing is everything. Mia leaned over my shoulder, peering at my notes. You're still thinking about her? Of course I am, I said. I need to know what she's doing. Every move, every meeting, every project. It all matters. If I want her to regret, I need to be precise. Leo groaned. You're obsessed. Obsessed is better than broken, I muttered. Remember last time? I was weak. I was nothing. This time, I won't make the same mistakes. We spent the next week quietly analyzing her company from the shadows. I used fake profiles, online databases, insider information I remembered from the future. Victor is the weak link, I whispered. She's climbing on his back, but he's arrogant, careless. Perfect. Mia frowned. You're putting too much focus on them. What about your investments? Your company? Everything is connected, I said firmly. She can't rise without leaving cracks. Those cracks. I'll exploit them. Slowly, invisibly. Leo shook his head. You sound like a criminal mastermind, not someone trying to rebuild his life. Exactly, I said, leaning forward. Rebuilding is fine, but control, power, that's the real goal. She taught me what weakness looks like. I'm never going back. That evening, I scrolled through her social media. Pictures with Victor, smiling, celebrating victories. I clenched my fists. They think they're perfect. They think I'm irrelevant. Perfect. They have no idea what I remember, what I know. Stop staring at her, Leo said softly. You're letting her consume your thoughts. Never, I said. She's the fuel. Every insult, every laugh, every betrayal, it's energy. You can't understand. Until someone crushes you, you don't know what fire looks like. Mia spoke up, voice calm. You're building silently, yes. But don't lose yourself in this. Don't forget patience is more important than anger. I'm aware, I said, though my jaw clenched. Patience, yes. But anger is the compass. It shows me exactly where I need to go. I watched her give a speech at a corporate gala, her words confident, her smile sharp. She's pretending to be strong, I whispered. But she's reckless. Every word she says, every deal she makes. I know the outcome. I know where she fails. Leo exhaled. You really think 5 years gives you enough time? Yes, I said firmly. 5 years. Enough to grow, to build, to wait for the perfect moment. She doesn't see me. She doesn't even imagine it. That's the advantage. Mia looked skeptical. You're using her like a measuring stick. That's dangerous, Michael. Don't let her define your life. She already did, I said quietly. 5 years ago. But now she's irrelevant in my growth. I only measure her so I can surpass her. So I can ensure she never touches me again. The next day, I received news that she had publicly outperformed another division. My stomach twisted. Good for her, I said, forcing calm. But she's making mistakes. Subtle ones. Tiny errors. I see them. Errors? Leo asked, puzzled. Small ones, I said. Decisions that look strong, but they leave holes. Holes I can exploit. Slowly. Invisibly. Perfectly. I started attending conferences online, under fake profiles, carefully monitoring her speeches, her proposals, her network. Every handshake, every nod, every photo, I catalogued them in my mind. She's climbing, yes, I whispered. But I'm climbing too. And my ladder is stronger. Invisible. Unbreakable. Leo groaned again. You're turning this into a game. And she's the target. It's not a game, I said sharply. It's preparation. You don't play chess by staring at the king. You watch every piece, every move, every weakness. That's strategy. Mia shook her head, smiling faintly. You've become cold. Calculated. The old Michael would have fallen apart weeks ago. Old Michael was a failure, I said. Weak, naive, trusting. He lost everything. That man is dead. I don't make the same mistakes twice. A few weeks later, I noticed Yana making a risky acquisition, one that Victor had encouraged. That's reckless, I muttered. They're blind. They think they're smart. They're just impatient. Leo leaned over my desk. You could warn her, prevent the mistake. Maybe it'll save her, or make her appreciate you. I shook my head. No. Patience. Timing. Every move must be hers, or it won't be perfect. I don't interfere. I observe. I wait. Silence is my weapon. Mia frowned. And what about emotion? Don't you want closure? I laughed softly, bitterly. Closure? No. Satisfaction isn't instant. It's earned. And when it comes, it will be absolute. She won't see me coming. She won't even imagine the man I've become. Weeks turned into months. Every meeting I watched online, every project she undertook, every step she took, I memorized, analyzed, stored. I saw patterns, weaknesses, arrogance. She thinks she's untouchable, I whispered. Perfect. I'll show her perfect can be surpassed. Leo shook his head one night. You're consumed by this. Are you even enjoying life? I enjoy growth, I said. I enjoy the silent victories, the knowledge that in 5 years, none of this matters to her. And I'll be ready. I'll be untouchable. Invisible until the moment I choose to strike. Mia smiled faintly. You've changed. Stronger, yes, but distant. Cold. Don't lose yourself in this. I'm not lost, I said firmly. I'm building. Slowly. Silently. Perfectly. They all think I'm gone, forgotten, irrelevant. That's the point. The more invisible I am, the stronger I become. Late at night, staring at her latest board meeting video, I whispered again, Yana, every word you said, every look you gave, every laugh you shared, it fuels me. You built me, even as you destroyed me. And one day, you'll understand exactly who I became. And then, nothing you ever did will matter. Leo looked at me, eyes wide. You're really doing this? All of it. For her. For what she made me, I said softly. For the years of weakness, the humiliation, the betrayal. I'll rise. And she'll see. Slowly, silently, perfectly. Mia leaned back in her chair. You're patient, meticulous, a shadow preparing to strike. But don't forget who you are, Michael. Don't lose yourself. I won't, I said, voice cold but steady. I'll remember. I'll remember everything. And when the time comes, she won't just see me, she'll feel the consequences of ever thinking she was better than me. I shut my laptop and stretched, eyes glinting in the dim light. The city outside was quiet, but inside, my mind roared. Every calculation, every strategy, every observation of her rise was a step toward my own. And as I whispered her name softly, letting it roll off my tongue like a warning, I smiled. Yana, you'll see. One day, you'll see. The first time I walked into her office, I felt nothing. Not fear. Not doubt. Just calm. I was invisible to everyone, but they didn't know what I had become. My suit was sharp, my shoes polished, my posture unshakable. Yana was sitting at her desk, laughing at some joke Victor told. I cleared my throat. She looked up, startled. Her smile faltered. Michael, she whispered. I nodded slowly. Hello, Yana. Her eyes widened, scanning me as if she were trying to find the man she once knew. You look different. I've changed, I said softly. Some things don't stay the same, you know? Victor appeared behind her chair, grinning. Well, if it isn't Michael. Wow, long time no see. You look good. Thank you, I said, voice steady, controlled. I'm here on business. I hope that's okay. Business? Yana repeated, unease creeping into her voice. Sure. What kind of business? I smiled faintly, walking around the office slowly. I think you'll see soon enough. I called Leo and Mia beforehand. Everything's set, I whispered. Timing is perfect. Everyone will know by the end of today. Leo replied, Are you sure? This is bold. I'm certain, I said firmly. Bold is what they need. Subtle is for amateurs. Today, I reclaim control. Quietly, invisibly, perfectly. I entered the boardroom later that morning, and all eyes turned to me. Yana's face paled. Victor froze mid-sentence. I let silence hang for a moment, enjoying the tension. Michael, Yana whispered again, voice trembling. How? I invested, I said simply, letting the words sink in. I quietly acquired majority shares in the company over the past months. Every move, every calculation, it led to this moment. The room erupted in murmurs. Employees whispered, glanced at each other. Victor's smile vanished. Yana's lips quivered. You can't do this, she said, standing abruptly. I run this company. I make decisions. You made mistakes, I said quietly, cutting her off. Costly ones. Decisions that seemed clever, but left cracks. Small errors. Tiny openings. I remembered them. I acted. And now, I let my gaze sweep across the room. I'm in control. Yana's hands shook as she grabbed her papers. You can't fire me. You. I can, I said firmly, voice echoing. And I will. Her eyes filled with tears. Michael, please. I didn't. You humiliated me, laughed at me, called me nothing, treated me like I was beneath you, I said, stepping closer. Do you remember? Every insult, every look, every word, it's all burned into me. And today, it ends. Victor's jaw tightened. Michael, this is extreme. Maybe we can negotiate. I shook my head. No negotiation. Actions have consequences. Today, she faces hers. Yana, you're fired. Effective immediately. The room went silent. I could hear Yana's shallow breaths. Her hands shook violently. No, you can't. I can, I said, voice cold, unwavering. And I am. Please. I made mistakes, she cried, collapsing into her chair. I can fix this. I can change. Just, please don't. Too late, I said. Your chance ended the day you humiliated me. The day you abandoned loyalty for arrogance. Today is your consequence. Her tears streamed down her face, hot and helpless. Michael. I didn't know. Then you were blind, I said, voice low. Blind to your own mistakes, blind to others, blind to me. And now, you face reality. A few employees whispered, staring at her in shock. Some looked at me with disbelief. But I ignored them. I didn't need their approval. I didn't need validation. I only needed closure. Victor opened his mouth, then closed it again. He realized the power had shifted. For the first time, he wasn't the one in control. I was. Silent. Invisible. Perfectly positioned. Yana's voice was barely audible now. Michael, why? Why do this? I knelt slightly to meet her eyes. Because someone needed to show you what it feels like to be powerless. To watch someone rise silently while you stumble blindly. To see that your arrogance, your cruelty, your selfishness has limits. And you crossed them all. She shook her head violently. I loved you. I didn't. You loved the idea of me when I was weak. You never loved me when I was anything more, I said softly. That was the problem. And it's gone. I've gone. She gasped, tears falling faster. But we could have. No, I said firmly. You had your chance. I had my breaking point. And now, it's over. Completely. I rose and walked to the front of the room, letting my presence fill the space. Everyone here, listen. Effective immediately, Yana no longer works here. Her actions have consequences. Loyalty and integrity matter here. Anything else has a price. Today, she pays hers. A few employees murmured, some nodding, some shocked. Yana's face was pale, stricken. Victor looked furious but powerless. She lunged for her papers, voice cracking. Michael, please. You don't understand. I understand more than you ever will, I said calmly. And that understanding has guided every decision I've made. Today, justice is served. Quietly, invisibly, perfectly. She collapsed into her chair, sobbing. I can't believe this. I turned to leave. My heart didn't race. My chest didn't pound. Relief wasn't joy, it was clarity. The years of humiliation, betrayal, and pain had crystallized into focus. Yana's fall was not just her consequence, it was mine too. Closure. Leo and Mia were waiting outside the boardroom. Leo whispered, You did it. All of it. She's gone. I nodded, calm, collected. Yes. But this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. She'll regret. She'll see. And everyone who doubted me, they'll see. Mia smiled faintly. You've become unrecognizable. Strong. Calculated. The man you were meant to be. I know, I said softly. And it feels right. Every insult, every laugh, every word of dismissal, it all led to this. Every moment of weakness has been transformed. Every tear, every heartbreak, every step was preparation. Leo looked uneasy. Do you feel happy? No, I said, voice steady. Happiness isn't what drives me. Control. Clarity. Closure. That's what drives me. And I have it. I glanced back at the office where Yana sat, broken, stripped of her power. She's going to rebuild her life elsewhere, somewhere else, believing she can rise again, I muttered softly. And one day, she'll understand exactly who I am, and why she never had a chance. Mia nodded. You've been patient, precise, invisible. And it's paid off. But don't let this be all about her. Your life, your growth, that matters more. I smiled faintly, thinking of the empire we had quietly built, the strategy, the patience. Yes, I whispered. Everything I've done, it's mine. And soon, it will be unstoppable. Walking out of the boardroom, I felt the years of pain finally lift. Not all of it, but enough to breathe. Yana's sobs were a distant echo behind me. I didn't gloat. I didn't celebrate. I simply existed in clarity, in power, in the quiet knowledge that I had won, not with violence, not with chaos, but with strategy, patience, and precision. Outside, Leo clapped me on the shoulder. You changed the game. I nodded, feeling the truth of it in every fiber of my being. Yes. But the real game, it's only just begun. I looked back once, seeing Yana's head bowed, tears staining her makeup, pride shattered. Goodbye, Yana, I whispered. You thought you buried me. But the man you buried has returned. And you will never forget me. I sat in my office, the city skyline glowing behind me, and smiled quietly. Everything was falling into place. Yana had been removed, Victor was scrambling, and the employees who had doubted me were beginning to realize that power could shift silently. Leo leaned back in his chair. Michael, you're moving fast. Are you sure about this next step? I'm certain, I said, eyes on my laptop. Victor is arrogant. He thinks he's untouchable. He doesn't see the cracks beneath him. He'll make mistakes, and I'll be there to capitalize on them. Mia nodded. Careful, though. One wrong move, and it could backfire. I've calculated every possibility, I said calmly. Every angle. Every risk. Every outcome. He won't see it coming. Neither will anyone else. I opened a private chat with one of my silent investors. Initiate the plan, I typed. Start the acquisition quietly. No leaks. Victor will never know what hit him. Leo frowned. You're not giving him a chance to fix it? No, I said sharply. Victor already had his chance. He squandered it with arrogance, oversights, and overconfidence. He's blind. And blind people fall. Later, I watched Victor's email chain, completely unaware I had access. He was confident, mocking, talking about expansion and deals. Every line of arrogance made me smile. You think you're untouchable, Victor? Watch closely. I called Mia. Prepare the financial reports. Make them look clean, solid. No mistakes, no gaps. Perfect. He won't notice a thing until it's too late. She sighed. You really enjoy this, don't you? Watching them stumble while you control everything silently. I enjoy precision, I said. I enjoy victory earned without chaos. They never saw me coming before. They won't see me again. Victor called a meeting that afternoon. Yana had been absent for weeks, broken and powerless. He assumed control, smiling arrogantly at his team. I watched from my private office screen. Victor started, thinking he was safe. Victor, I interrupted, voice calm over the speaker system. We need to talk about the company's future. And about your role in it. He froze. Michael? How? Silence, patience, and preparation, Victor. Those are powerful tools. You ignored them. You mocked me, underestimated me, and that is why you're about to fall. The room went silent. Victor's face turned red. I don't. You don't understand yet, do you? I said. Let me explain. Over the past months, I've quietly built a stake in this company. Every calculation, every investment, every move you made blindly has increased my control. Today, I'm calling the shots. Effective immediately, you no longer have decision-making authority. Victor's hands shook. This is illegal. Check the documents, I said calmly. Everything is legal, clean, and precise. Your arrogance blinded you to my presence. Now, you face the consequences. He slammed his fist on the table. Michael. You can't do this. This is revenge. Not revenge, I said, voice cold. Justice. Patience. Observation. And the consequences of ignoring those you think are weak. You made yourself vulnerable, Victor. And now, you fall. Yana's name came to mind. She had laughed, she had scorned me. She had abandoned loyalty. And now Victor was the next victim of the silent storm I had built. Leo whispered, "You're doing it." Slowly, invisibly, perfectly. I nodded. Exactly. Let them stumble. Let them fall. And let the consequences teach a lesson they'll never forget. Victor's team whispered, some shocked, some nodding at the precision of my plan. They realized the man they'd overlooked had risen. Silent. Invisible. Unstoppable. Victor's face twisted in anger. You think this is over? You'll regret this. I smiled faintly. Regret is for those who fail to prepare. You prepared poorly. I prepared perfectly. The boardroom phone rang. I picked it up calmly. Yes? Michael, it's the legal department. Everything is in order. Victor's authority is suspended. The acquisition, it's complete. I hung up and leaned back in my chair, letting the silence fill the room. Mia and Leo exchanged glances, impressed and slightly uneasy. Victor's voice cracked over the speaker again. You're insane. You've destroyed everything. I've restored balance, I said softly. You were reckless, arrogant, and blind. And you paid the price. Yana's absence was a bitter taste in the back of my mind. She had once thought she had won, thought she was untouchable, thought I would always be weak. Now, she would hear of this, her allies crumbling, her mentor humiliated, and all while I remained invisible. Leo whispered, "You've surpassed them all." Completely. What now? Now, I said, we watch, we prepare, and we grow stronger. Yana will hear about this. She will realize exactly what she lost, exactly who she underestimated. And when the time comes, I let the pause linger. She will regret every word, every laugh, every insult she ever gave me. Mia added softly, "Do you ever get tired of watching them fall silently?" No, I said firmly. This isn't about enjoyment. It's about precision. Observation. Justice. They never saw me before. They won't see me again until it's too late. Victor's voice wavered now. You've won, for now. But I'll fight back. Fight back? I asked softly, almost amused. You never had control, Victor. You were blind, and that's why you failed. Your fight is meaningless. I closed my laptop and stood, walking across the room slowly. The city lights reflected off the glass walls. This is just the beginning. Every insult, every betrayal, every moment I was weak, they all built me. And now, the man they thought was powerless is rising. Leo whispered, "And Yana?" "She'll hear soon enough," I said. "And she will understand exactly who she lost. She'll see what happens to those who dismiss, scorn, and abandon loyalty. She'll regret ever thinking she was better than me." Mia nodded. "You've built this silently, invisibly, perfectly. And they're crumbling. But don't forget, this is only phase 1. "I know," I said. "Phase 1 is complete. Phase 2, is when the world finally sees the consequences of their arrogance. I walked to the window, looking down at the bustling city below. They thought I was weak, invisible, irrelevant. They were wrong. And they'll pay for underestimating me. Slowly, invisibly, perfectly. Victor's furious muttering echoed in my mind. "You'll regret this, Michael." I smiled faintly. "No, Victor. You'll remember it forever. And Yana, she'll understand exactly who she let go. And by then, it will be too late for her to matter." The city lights reflected my resolve. I had risen from despair, humiliation, and heartbreak. Every step had been calculated. Every move had been invisible. And now, the man who was once nothing had become unstoppable. I turned to Leo and Mia. "Prepare for the next phase. The Empire grows quietly, and when the time comes, they'll all understand exactly who I am. And Yana, she will never forget me." The email arrived just as I was reviewing the next acquisition plan. Subject line: "We need to talk." My heart didn't race. My hands didn't shake. I just smiled faintly. Finally. Leo leaned over my shoulder. "It's her, isn't it?" "Of course it's her," I said, voice calm. "She's finally realizing, finally seeing the consequences of underestimating me." Mia tilted her head. "Are you going to respond?" "Yes," I said quietly. "But on my terms. Always on my terms." I typed a simple message: "Meet me at my office. 3 p.m. No excuses." Her response was immediate: "I'll be there." "Please." "Michael, I need to explain." I exhaled slowly, a faint smile tugging at my lips. "Explain?" "Oh, she's going to explain. But this time, she won't escape the consequences." 3 p.m. arrived. The office was quiet. I stood behind my desk, suit crisp, demeanor calm. Leo and Mia were in the adjoining room, waiting, watching. The door opened. Yana stepped in. Her eyes widened the moment she saw me. She looked different, tired, humbled, and fearful. "Michael," she whispered, voice trembling. I didn't know. I held up a hand. "Save it. I don't want excuses. I want honesty. For once in your life, I want the truth." Her lips quivered. I was wrong. I laughed. I treated you like you were nothing. I thought you'd always stay weak. I didn't see you. Not really." I leaned back, folding my arms. "And now?" I asked quietly. "Do you see me now?" Tears brimmed in her eyes. "Yes. I see you. I see everything I lost. Everything I destroyed. I'm sorry, Michael. Truly." I shook my head slowly. "Sorry isn't enough. Not this time. You don't get a redo, Yana. Not after everything." She stepped closer, voice trembling. "Please, just hear me out. I can't change the past, but I want to make things right. I You can't," I interrupted firmly. "You can't erase the years of humiliation, the laughter, the betrayal. You thought you were better than me. You thought I'd stay small, irrelevant, weak. You were wrong." Victor's name came to mind. Yana had relied on him for her rise. And your precious Victor, I said softly, voice low, cutting, he crumbled too. Did that feel good? Knowing you built yourself on someone else's strength, only to have it collapse? Her hands trembled. I didn't realize. I was wrong. I. You didn't realize anything, I said, voice steady. You were blind. And now, you've seen the truth. I built everything silently, invisibly, perfectly. And you were powerless to stop it. Her voice broke. I was stupid. I see it now. Michael. You abandoned me when I was weak, I said. You laughed at me. You mocked me. And now, I stand here, not weak, not powerless, not invisible. I stand here untouchable. And you face the consequences. She dropped her gaze, sobbing quietly. Michael, please. I understand now. You understand nothing, I said firmly. You only feel the weight of what you've lost. And that will teach you more than any lecture or apology ever could. Yana sank into a chair, tears streaming. I never should have. I can't believe I believe it, I said softly. Every word, every action, every betrayal you delivered, it all matters now. And you're paying the price. She looked up, desperation in her eyes. Michael, is there nothing I can do? Nothing at all? I shook my head. You could have done everything right years ago. That time is gone. All you can do now is watch and remember. Her hands covered her face. I was cruel. I didn't appreciate you. And that's the lesson, I said quietly. Every humiliation, every insult, every scornful look you gave me, it's now your reality. You are powerless. You are humbled. You are regret. Tears fell freely. She whispered, I'm sorry, truly, Michael. I let her speak, letting each word hang in the air, letting it hit her like a wave. Then I stood, walking around my desk slowly. My presence filled the room, controlled, commanding. Do you understand now? I asked softly. Yes, she choked, nodding. I do. I see it all. Good, I said firmly. Because this is your reality. And every day you spend remembering what you lost, every day you understand the man you destroyed, that is the consequence you earned. Not anger. Not revenge. Not violence. Just clarity. She sobbed again, whispering, Michael. I was wrong. I should have. I know, I said softly. But you can't change the past. And I won't let you manipulate the present. Your fate, your lesson, it's in your hands now. You live with it. You feel it. And you will never forget it. She shook her head, unable to speak. Her pride was gone. Her arrogance shattered. She was powerless. I turned to leave the office. Leo and Mia were waiting. Phase 1 is complete, I said quietly. The man they buried has returned. And the consequences, they are exact, calculated, inevitable. Leo nodded. She'll never forget. Not after this. No, I said, voice steady. And neither will anyone else who thought I was weak. invisible, irrelevant. This is only the beginning. The empire grows quietly. And when the final phase comes, they'll all understand exactly who I am. I glanced back at Yana one last time. She looked small, broken, humbled. Tears streaked down her face. "Goodbye, Yana," I whispered softly. "You thought you buried me. But I returned, stronger, smarter, untouchable. And now, you see me." Her sobs filled the room, but I didn't falter. I had waited years for this moment. Every insult, every betrayal, every laugh had led to this. And now, silence was my ally, and clarity my weapon. Mia whispered, "She's destroyed, Michael. Completely." "But what now?" "Now," I said softly, "we consolidate. We grow. We plan. The empire rises silently, invisibly. And when it's fully built, then, and only then, will they see the full consequences of underestimating me." Leo nodded. "You've become untouchable." I smiled faintly. "Exactly. Untouchable, patient, precise, and above all, unstoppable. And Yana, she will remember this day forever." I walked out of the office, leaving Yana to her sobs, leaving Victor to his stunned silence, leaving the employees to process the shift in power. I felt no gloating. No triumph. Just clarity. I had risen from the ashes. The man she thought she buried was alive, stronger, and silent. And the final chapter of her arrogance had been written, by me. The morning sunlight filtered through the glass walls of my new office, gleaming off the polished floors. My empire was no longer a dream. It was real. Silent, invisible, untouchable. And every piece was perfectly in place. Leo leaned back in his chair, smiling faintly. "I can't believe how far we've come." You've done it, Michael. The company is thriving, and no one even saw it coming." I nodded, eyes scanning the reports on my desk. "They never saw me coming, Leo. Never. That's the key. Patience, planning, invisibility, power is quiet until it hits. And now, they all understand exactly who I am." Mia stepped forward. Yana must have heard by now. Her network, her mentors, word travels fast. "How does it feel?" I smiled faintly. "It's not about her feelings. It's about justice. She underestimated me, humiliated me, abandoned loyalty. She and Victor both learned the same lesson. Power isn't given. It's earned quietly, invisibly, perfectly." Leo frowned. "You're calm, but does it feel like revenge? Or satisfaction?" "Neither," I said firmly. "Satisfaction is fleeting. Revenge is childish. This is justice. It's calculated, precise, and inevitable. They can't escape it, and they can't rewrite the past. They're powerless to change what I've built." The phone rang. I picked it up. "Michael speaking." A voice trembled on the other end. "Michael, it's Yana. Please. I need to speak to you." I exhaled slowly, voice calm. "You may speak. But remember, this is your reality now. No excuses. No manipulation. Just honesty." Her voice cracked. I've heard everything. Victor, the acquisitions, the company. I was wrong. I never should have doubted you, humiliated you, or abandoned you. Please. I need to explain." "Explain?" I repeated softly, leaning back in my chair. Do you truly believe words can fix years of neglect, scorn, and betrayal? Can you undo the humiliation you caused? Can you erase the man you thought was weak? No, she whispered. I can't. But I need to try. I understand now. I see it all. I remained silent for a moment, letting the weight of her realization sink in. See it? Good. That's the start. Now you will live with it. Every moment, every regret, every memory. That is your justice. I understand, Michael, she said quietly, sobbing. I truly do. I was blind. You were blind, I said softly. And now you've seen. That's enough. Learn from it. Live with it. And never forget who you underestimated. The line went silent. I hung up and turned to Leo and Mia. She understands now, I said quietly. And everyone else who doubted me, they've seen the rise of a man they thought was weak. Leo shook his head. It's astonishing. You've built everything silently, and now the company is thriving beyond expectations. People respect you, fear you, admire you. They all see it. Yes, I said, voice calm. They see the results of patience, strategy, and invisibility. They see what happens when you ignore, scorn, or humiliate the wrong person. That is justice. Perfectly executed. Mia smiled. And yet, you remain calm, composed. Not gloating, not vengeful. It's impressive. I've learned, I said softly. Gloating is for the weak. Satisfaction is temporary. Justice, true justice, is silent, invisible, and inevitable. That's what they've learned. And that's what they will never forget. Later, I walked through the office, observing employees working efficiently, quietly, with loyalty and respect. They knew the shift in power had happened, but no one feared chaos. I had rebuilt trust, integrity, and precision. The empire was solid. Victor appeared at the doorway, face pale. Michael. I see it now. You've truly become unstoppable. I nodded slowly. I didn't become unstoppable overnight. Years of patience, planning, and invisible work led here. You learned the hard way that arrogance, underestimation, and neglect have consequences. And now, you understand the price of ignoring someone you once thought powerless. He swallowed hard. Yes. I do. I underestimated you. Exactly, I said calmly. And that mistake is one you'll never repeat. Learn it. Live with it. That is justice. Perfect, quiet, and invisible. Yana's face flashed in my mind. The pride, the scorn, the laughter, all gone, replaced by regret and humility. I didn't feel pleasure or triumph, just clarity. Every insult, every betrayal, every humiliation had been transformed into strength, precision, and justice. Leo whispered, "Do you ever think about forgiveness?" I shook my head slowly. Forgiveness is irrelevant here. Justice isn't forgiveness. Justice is understanding consequences, observing outcomes, and allowing actions to speak louder than words. They've all learned that now. Mia nodded. And Yana? She's learned it too, I said softly. Finally. And it's permanent. She will remember every moment she dismissed me. every insult, every scornful glance, every laugh, forever. And that is enough. The phone rang again. I ignored it at first, then answered. Michael speaking. It was a journalist. Mr. Michael, your company has quietly overtaken the competition. Your rise, no one saw it coming. How did you do it? I smiled faintly. Patience, precision, and observation. That's all. The rest is invisible work that speaks for itself. The journalist paused. Incredible. People are calling it the perfect comeback. The man no one saw, now unstoppable. Is that true? Yes, I said softly. Exactly that. Invisible until it matters. Silent until the right moment. And now, unstoppable. After I hung up, I stood by the window, city lights reflecting my resolve. Everything was in place. The empire had risen. Every insult, every betrayal, every humiliation had been transformed into power. Yana, Victor, and everyone who doubted me had learned their lesson. Leo and Mia joined me. It's over, Leo said quietly. The Empire, your victory, it's complete. Yes, I said, voice steady. Complete, invisible, and perfect. And justice, true justice, has been served. Mia added softly, and yet, you remain calm. Not triumphant, just precise. That's what makes it powerful. Exactly, I said. Calm, precise, invisible, unstoppable. That is who I am now. And everyone who thought they could humiliate me, every one of them, has learned the truth. I turned back to the city skyline. They will never forget me. Yana will never forget me. Victor will never forget me. And every person who ever doubted my strength, my resolve, my patience, they will remember. Because this is final. Perfect. Invisible. Justice. Leo whispered, "What now, Michael? After all of this?" I smiled faintly, eyes gleaming. Now, we continue to grow. We build, we expand, we strengthen. And anyone who underestimates me, they will learn, slowly, silently, perfectly. And no one, not even Yana, will ever dismiss me again. Mia nodded. Your empire, truly unstoppable now. Yes, I said softly. Unstoppable, invisible, perfect. And justice has been served. The city was quiet at night, the lights reflecting off the river like scattered stars. I sat in my office, alone, watching the world move without chaos, without tension, without the whispers of doubt. My empire was solid. Invisible to some, unstoppable to all. Leo entered, leaning casually against the doorframe. You've changed everything, Michael. Everyone sees it now. And Yana, she's heard, hasn't she? She has, I said softly, eyes on the skyline. And she understands. Not that she can undo anything. Not that she can reach me. But she knows. And that knowledge is permanent. That's justice. Leo shook his head. I don't know how you stay so calm. You could gloat, celebrate, and yet, you just watch. Because gloating is for the weak, I said. Celebration is temporary. True satisfaction comes from knowing the world now respects reality. That power isn't inherited. It's earned. Slowly. Quietly. Invisibly. And everyone who thought they could dismiss me, they've learned. Mia stepped forward, holding a folder of reports. Michael, it's complete. The company is thriving beyond expectations. Every employee respects you. No one challenges authority now. The empire is solid. I nodded. Yes. Solid. But respect without fear isn't enough. They need to know boundaries. They need to see that arrogance, cruelty, and scorn have consequences. That lesson has been taught. Perfectly. Leo glanced at me. And Yana? She's humbled, I said softly. Broken, regretful, powerless. She sees what she lost, what she destroyed, and she knows why it matters. But she's irrelevant now. That chapter is closed. Forever. Mia frowned slightly. Do you ever think about forgiving her? I shook my head. Forgiveness is meaningless here. She isn't a part of my life anymore. My focus is forward. Growth. Strategy. Expansion. And ensuring no one ever underestimates me again. That's enough. The phone rang. I answered casually. Michael. It was an old colleague. Michael. I just wanted to congratulate you. The rise, your comeback, no one saw it coming. How did you do it? I smiled faintly. Patience. Strategy. Observation. And knowing that people reveal their weaknesses when they think no one is watching. That's all. Unbelievable, the voice said. You've become a legend. People are talking about the man no one saw, until it was too late. Yes, I said softly. Exactly. Invisible until it matters. Silent until the right moment. And then, unstoppable. After I hung up, I walked to the window, city lights stretching endlessly before me. Years ago, I had walked in the rain, broken, humiliated, betrayed. Yana had laughed at me. Victor had underestimated me. Every insult, every dismissal, every scornful word had become fuel. Every tear, every heartbreak, every night of despair had become preparation. Leo said quietly, "You've truly become someone no one can touch." The man they buried, alive, invisible, perfect. Yes, I said softly. Alive. Invisible. Perfect. And untouchable. That is who I am now. And that is how I will remain. Mia looked at me curiously. And what about love, Michael? Will you ever trust someone again? I thought about it. Thought about the years lost, the betrayals endured, the patience it took to rebuild. Trust, I said slowly, is earned, not given. Loyalty isn't cheap. And arrogance can't be forgiven. So, yes, I may love again someday. But it will be careful, deliberate, and deserved. And anyone who enters my life will respect it. Or they will learn what I already know, consequences are inevitable. Leo smiled faintly. Sounds like you've become a different man. Stronger, smarter, untouchable. I am, I said quietly. The man they thought was nothing, is now everything. Silent. Invisible. Precise. And always unstoppable. The office phone rang again. I ignored it this time, letting it ring. No one would disturb me tonight. I didn't need validation, congratulations, or approval. The only recognition I required was the quiet certainty in my chest, the calm control over everything I had built. I walked to the balcony and breathed in the cool night air. The city moved below me, unaware of the empire quietly ruling within its heart. I thought of Yana, thinking she had one. I thought of Victor, thinking he was untouchable. I smiled faintly. They would never forget me. Leo said softly behind me, Michael, do you ever think about what it would have been like if they hadn't underestimated you? I shook my head slowly. No. Every insult, every betrayal, every laugh led me here. I wouldn't be who I am without it. And this is the only ending that makes sense. Invisible until it matters. Silent until the right moment. And then, unstoppable. Mia added quietly, and everyone knows it now. They respect it. They fear it. They've learned it. Perfectly executed. Yes, I said softly. Perfect. Invisible. And inevitable. That is justice. That is clarity. That is the life I've rebuilt from the ashes of humiliation, betrayal, and heartbreak. I thought back to that rainy night, walking alone, broken, lost, thinking life had ended. But it hadn't. Life had begun anew. Reborn, silent, patient, precise. I had watched, learned, and grown. Every enemy, every betrayer, had fallen in the ways they had earned. Leo said, "You've truly become the man they could never forget." I smiled faintly. Yes. And that is exactly what they will never do. Forget. Yana. Victor. Everyone who doubted me, they will remember. Always. Because I am the man who rose from nothing. Invisible. Silent. Perfect. And unstoppable. The night stretched on, calm, steady, unbroken. My empire stood, my strategy complete, my justice served. And as I watched the city lights shimmer in the distance, I knew no one, not Yana, not Victor, not anyone, would ever underestimate me again. I turned back to the office, lights glowing softly, reports neatly stacked, my team loyal and precise. This is the life I've built, I whispered. The world may not see the effort, the patience, the calculation, but it doesn't matter. They will feel the results. And that is enough. Leo said quietly, and the man they buried, alive, invisible, perfect, will never be forgotten. No, I said softly, voice low, calm. Never. And they will always remember why. I stood alone on the balcony, letting the wind brush against me. Years of pain, humiliation, and betrayal had been transformed into clarity, power, and control. Every lesson had been learned. Every consequence served. Every enemy humbled. And in that quiet night, I smiled faintly, knowing the man they thought they buried had returned, stronger, wiser, unstoppable, and completely unforgettable.